All right. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. We appreciate it. Now, this is an event that we've actually done multiple times over the years. And as it turns out, we started doing it multiple times because as traders talk to us about the why they joined or what made sense to them or why they felt like we might be a good fit, a lot of them referred back to this particular event, and that some of the information in this event kind of gave them an aha that maybe this approach to trading might be a good idea. So that's why we do it kind of regularly. Now, some of the people that come to all of our events may, eventually say, okay, well, I've seen that one before, but not today. This one is all new or mostly new. Same information, but we're just trying to, freshen things up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I know you guys, your time is very valuable and very important, and we want to make sure we make the best use of your time and don't waste it. So we're going to get started, and the same disclaimers that we have to do, that everybody else has to do also. Please don't trade with money that you can't afford to lose. Most people tend to lose money at trading, so that means you probably will too. This is only for educational purposes. We don't make any promises that you will be successful at day trading. Okay? Something I wanted to bring up, because some of you may have to leave early or whatnot. We are having another event on Saturday. And what we're going to do this Saturday is we're going to go over the trades that we've taken in the trade room this week. We've had a really good week this week, and I want to show you some of those trades. The reason being is they've been, not every trade and trade setup is picture perfect, right? But we've had a lot of picture perfect trade setups this week. And we want to make sure that you guys get a chance to see those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the trades. I'm going to talk about why the trades qualified for a trade setup, how we traded it. I'll show you how I used the static Superdome to place the trade, to put on a bracket order, and I'll give you my insight onto why the trade either won or lost. And we will show you both types of trades, not just all winners. We do take losing trades. All right, so when I started trading, I was a failed trader for about 7 years. And I could not trade for the life of me. Now, you imagine after 7 years, you collect a lot of stuff, right? A lot of indicators, a lot of different charts, a lot of information, a lot of just stuff. And man, did I try to use all of it all the time to just take one trade, just win a trade. But I had all of this stuff. It was a very impressive looking office that I had. And I thought, after 7 years, I had an epiphany one day that I was no more likely to win the next trade than I was the very first day I started trading. Not only that, I had never established any kind of consistency to even know if I could be a winning trader. I wanted it so bad. And then for short periods of times, I'd feel like I had it. But then I would lose it and then some. And it's a common story, John. It's a very common story. So after 7 years of not able to figure out what I was doing or what the problem was or where do I start, I did the same thing the rest of us do. I started looking at more indicators. Maybe I just don't have enough. Even though I had a mountain of stuff, maybe I need more. Maybe that's my problem. So I'd start looking for more indicators. I'd try all different types of chart types. Um, I would go and then try all different kinds of trading systems, and sometimes combining them, and sometimes jumping from one system to another right in the middle of a trade. I would try different styles of trading. I might have been trying swing trading at the time, and then I thought, well, heck, I'll try scalping. Let's try that for a while, and I would try that in the middle of a trade also. So, we all do the same. Let's go read everything we can. Let's go find forums and chat rooms and learn. That's the thing. If I can't win and I'm not winning, I need to learn more. More. Always more. And then screw this learning thing. Let's just let somebody else tell me when to take a trade, right? Either with signals, with somebody who sends signals, via text or email or whatever, or we use auto traders, or we go to YouTube and start looking on YouTube. I think some of you may have found us on YouTube. You start looking at, hey, this guy 89% win rate. That sounds like what I need, right? So we all go to YouTube. So yeah, like I said, auto traders. We all start trying to use auto traders. Anybody not ever tried to use an auto trader? Most people that have been in trading for any period of time have at some point decided, you know what? I can't do it. So I'm going to transfer the responsibility to the computer, the accountability to the computer. So most traders, you're lucky, Raymond, don't ever do it. Most traders that have struggled have gone down the auto trader path. Yep, then you blame the computer. So here's the thing about all of that. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing over and over and over. And then we might see a little bit of success, and then we go, oh, we got it. And then we do it again, and then we start the process again, and we start the search again, and we go to all those places, and it's a never-ending loop, right? So let's think about this. Let's take a quick couple of minutes and consider your trading path and how you may have gotten here without even knowing it. Okay? So I tend to use a lot of analogies and examples to help understand our behaviors as humans. And we tend to not really want to think about day trading or our problems with day trading as a problem with our behavior. Okay? But if you let's change your perspective a little bit. Let's say you and your wife are looking, or your husband or your significant other are looking for your new home, right? So what do we look at? Well, the first thing is curb appeal, right? We want a pretty house, a nice yard. We're going to look at what we can see, and if all that's really pretty, okay, well, that's really nice. Let's go look some more. Oh, look at the kitchen. Oh, yeah, the kitchen's great. Or what if backyard is your thing and you want a resort-type backyard, or a nice porch, which, by the way, I thought I built this porch when I found this picture. I used to be a contractor, and we did stuff like this. And I thought this was mine. I'm like, holy cow. Then I don't think it is. But look, I've done something just like that. Or what if it's a nice bathroom, or whatever it is you're looking for, walk-in closets. So these are all things you can see. These are all the things that you believe makes the difference in the house. All right? This is what's important about a house, right? So let's build a house, but let's start with a faulty foundation. Okay, so if we're building a trading career, the problem with most of us is we've started with a faulty foundation. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But if you build a house and you've got this bad foundation, you're going to end up with a myriad of problems that you think or don't even know is a problem with the foundation of the house. Okay? So I don't know how many of my customers would show me cracks in their cinder block walls or whatever and ask me if I could fix it. Can you fix those cracks? Or, hey, this window's stuck. Can you fix the window? Or, hey, my roof is leaking. Can you go fix that for me? And I would have to say, I can. But then I'm going to be out here next year fixing it again, and then fixing it again, and fixing it again. Because the problem's not your roof. It's not your chimney. It's not the door. Your house is built on a faulty foundation. My trading career was built on a faulty foundation. I never knew at any point if I had the ability to be a winning trader. So even though I would go out and look for more indicators and more, different chart types and look on YouTube and do all these different things, and thinking that I was working at my trading, never did I approach the problem, the actual problem that was causing me to be a failed trader. Okay, I had not created any type of foundation of winning. Just more and more and more stuff. And you can do this because we have people that are probably here today. I haven't looked at the whole list, but we've had people in our trade room for 10 years or more that come every day. And they have achieved success. And I, a failed trader, have achieved it. So you can too. And it's, you know what? The funny thing is, it's really not that hard. It's just doing what you would do to become skilled at anything else in life. Okay? So you can achieve it as well. So I started thinking, okay, how can I do this thing about 2 ticks and just win a couple of ticks? And, if I could win a couple of ticks per day, what would be my income limiting factors? I started thinking, well, of course I couldn't be guaranteed anything. Nobody's guaranteed. But I was just playing this game in my mind that if I knew strongly that I was highly likely to be able to win 2 ticks a day, my income limiting factors would only be how much I could trade with, right? Size of my trading account and how often I could do it. Not a lot of limiting factors. So I started thinking about this, and more importantly, how can I get in and out of trades without having to manage my emotions? That was killing me. My emotions were killing me. I was all about money, 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 money. Think about money all the time. And when you start thinking about money, you start getting emotional, don't you? That's where the mistakes happen. So how can I trade and either remove or greatly reduce how much emotions were involved? So I started thinking about 2 ticks, and you see how fast price moves just 2 ticks. I'm thinking, well, if I could just win 2 ticks and then stop for the day, just stop after 2 ticks, then I have ended the day as a winning trader, right? And if I end the day as a winning trader, I just beat 90% of the other traders out there that day, right? So it's kind of a different way of thinking about it. Yeah, okay. So I won 10 or 20 bucks, but I'm 10 or 20 bucks ahead. I won. And now I can put a big check on the calendar. Yes, winning day. Okay? So I started thinking about this. Can I do this? And how can I do this? And where do I find these two ticks? So I started looking at charts and I started thinking, there are places on these charts where it's predictable that price doesn't want to cross or it doesn't want to move into a new area. And it's very simple. Watching support and resistance levels for all those years, I did notice that it's very likely that when price approaches an area of support or resistance quickly, there's a good chance that price is going to react at least a little bit to that support or resistance. If it drifts into the line, not so much. But I started looking at support and resistance. And floor trader pivots was the one that I used. And I used those because at the time, and still today, most people like to use floor trader pivots for support and resistance levels. So I wanted to be looking at what most other people look at. Why is that? Somebody tell me why I want to be looking at the same support and resistance levels as everybody else. Anybody? What makes support and resistance levels work? Because people think they do. And that's the only reason support and resistance lines work. Because people believe in them. And because of that, they're afraid to cross them, or they're afraid to, they're going to follow the herd. So if that's what other people believe is support and resistance, well, by golly, I'm going to look at them too. It's all about thoughts, feelings, and emotions. That's what creates areas of support and resistance. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Exactly. So we all know the markets are driven by data, right? In fact, it's all about data, right? Where does this data come from? Where does the data come from that drives the market? What is being measured to come up with the data? Well, where are the orders coming from? You got to go all the way back to the beginning. What creates the data? What's being measured? Those of you that have been around here for a while know the answer to this. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. We're getting closer. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Those thoughts, feelings, and emotions create volume. It creates trades. It creates price action. It creates everything that's happening in the markets. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions move the markets. And data is collected from these movements. And they're compared to other data from previous movements so that we can anticipate what the markets might do next. Okay? HFTs react to the markets. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions. HFTs also create thoughts, feelings, and emotions. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay? So the data that we're gathering is trying to come to a consensus on what we believe the overall feeling is about current price and what is likely to happen next. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to use, for those two ticks, I'm going to use support and resistance levels. But how am I going to do this? So we talked about the HFTs, like you said, and the markets are being manipulated by HFTs, right? And the quants and the hedge funds and all these people with a bunch of money and the ability to move the markets. So what we're going to do using these support and resistance, high frequency traders, they use computers to place their trades, and they place huge orders, but they do it in a way where they're trying not to be discovered. Okay. And that's a whole different thing. Now, they're huge for us though, because we like to not to jump in with them. We like to, we wait for the reaction. I'm going to talk about this in just a few minutes. So what we want to do is take advantage of the traders that don't know the markets and our emotions are always being manipulated, or they don't even know when it's happening. That's an advantage because we do. We know all those things and we know when it's happening. And because we've narrowed down the amount of data that we need to analyze to take a trade. We're not trying to measure everything in the markets to know when it's time to take a trade. We measure a smaller amount of data and we take a much quicker trade. Okay? So, for example, based on what this crowd is doing, as a group, do I have any idea what is likely to happen next as a group? To the point where I have an edge. Now, if I'm trying to read the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of all these people and then combine them and figure out how many combinations of thoughts, feelings, and emotions are there, millions and millions of combinations of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And this is like being in the markets and trying to understand all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that other traders are feeling at the time. Now that might be kind of hard. But what about when something sudden and unexpected happens? How many thoughts, feelings, and emotions are these people having right here? This is my favorite slide that I've used for 15 years. I know what they're thinking. They've only got a few thoughts, feelings, and emotions at this instant right here. Exactly. Fear of injury and to protect themselves from harm, which is more of a reflex than a thought. Right? So how many combinations of thoughts, feelings, and emotions? Not many, right? And I know exactly what these people did the instant the danger passed. I know exactly what they did. Can you tell me what they do? Exactly. What did they do? All of them at the same time. What did they do? Now they're done. The danger has passed. The danger has passed. They relaxed. And when they relaxed, they all put their hands down, didn't they? Well, gee, that's like having a crystal ball, isn't it? I know what they did because I know how they act and react to the conditions. So here's my thing. Do I want to be a trader that's trying to study complex algorithms to try to make trades? Or do I want to be a trader that is basically people watching, right? When you're watching thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you're watching people and you're watching how they act and react to stressful situations. So I'm just a people watcher. That makes more sense to me. That makes things easier for me when I realize I'm not watching the big machine, I'm not watching all this math stuff, I'm not trying to do calculations and figure out how to beat the markets based on a bunch of math. This is, I hate to tell you this, but this is more art than science. The art is knowing how to read people. And we know how to do that. So, where am I going to find a couple of ticks? Okay, I'm looking at this chart. Where am I going to find these ticks? And where's the most obvious place for these ticks? Well, if you look at a chart, everywhere on the chart, there are obvious points where price, for whatever reason, stops and changes directions. At least a little bit. And it stops for, we don't know why always. Sometimes it's support and resistance. Sometimes it's support and resistance we can see. Sometimes it's what we can't see or that we're not measuring at the time. It could be fibs or whatever. Who knows? So there are areas of support and resistance where price just stops and changes directions. Now, that kind of gave me an aha. So if rather than trying to anticipate what a big crowd is going to think over a long time frame, what if I just try to anticipate what a crowd's going to do immediately after a sudden and unexpected event? So when you see a chart that looks like this, I see a crowd that's reacting to a stimulus in a predictable way. And I know what they're likely to do next. And so that's where our indicators come from. We're measuring every one of those, every tick that comes into every one of those bars for something that tells us that the conditions that exist typically just before price changes directions exist in this bar. That's all we're looking for. When price usually changes directions, these conditions exist. And that's where our indicators come from. Now, Saturday. If you haven't registered yet, the registration is up at the top of the chat. And you can register for Saturday. We're going to talk more about these indicators. And I'm going to show you what they do and why they do it and how we use them. Okay? By the end of the day, Saturday, you'll be ready to trade with us on Monday. Almost. You still got some practice to do. All right? Everybody got that? All right. So anybody know who Richard Wyckoff is? Or Wyckoff? However you say it. He's a pretty famous trader from back in the turn of the previous century. So he says, and he's big with volume spread analysis. Okay, he's kind of the father of volume spread analysis. So he's curious about the underlying trends or logic behind market action. And he was a real student and a real teacher of trading. He actually had a magazine, and he went by the nom de plume of Rolotape. So, but his whole thing was, if you watch how the market, which is people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, if you watch how they respond, it's an almost unerring guide to the technical position of the market. And that's exactly what we do. That's what we do. So now we're back to this 2 ticks, right? All we're looking for is 2 ticks. And here's why, William. Here's why we're going to do this. All right. So I'm going to offer you this challenge. And this is being recorded, by the way. So if you want to go back and watch this challenge again, I will send you a link to the video. So we've got this 2-tick challenge. And this challenge is the thing that has pretty much changed trading for hundreds of our traders. This simple thing. Sounds simple. It is simple, but it's also requires a lot of work. 2-tick challenge. Here's what I want you to do. You have to start with the basics of a simple trading system, which I think I've just shown you one. Ours is very simple, and it's been proven for many, many years. We're 14 years now, okay? So we have the same trade room, the same things we're trading, the same thing for all those years, because if something works, why change it? I know you've been in probably trade rooms where people keep changing things. We don't need to change it. It doesn't need to be, it's better all the time. We killed it today, all week we've been killing it. So start with the basics of a simple trading system. Get your 2 ticks net for the trading session. Okay, 2 ticks. You want to win 2 ticks. Okay? And then you quit trading live. Now, I put quit trading live because I know some of you are still trading live even though you don't know what you're doing, or you don't have an edge that you can exploit with any type of confidence. So you're still doing live trading. Please stop that. What I would rather you do here when it says quit trading live is you have 2 different sim accounts. You have Sim Live and Sim. Okay, that's what we teach our traders. You set up Sim Live account and a Sim account. Whatever happens in the live account, that's how you end your day, no matter what happens. If you got 2 ticks and you quit trading in your Sim Live account and stop trading live and start trading in Sim for the rest of the day. So that's all practice, okay? No matter what happens, wins or losses, doesn't matter. You put the 2 ticks in your bank, whether it's your Sim bank or whether it's your trading account, okay? So the goal is to see how many consecutive days you can end the trading session as a winner, right? Now, what are you doing here? Okay, so then you hit your goal. You go for a few more ticks, then you repeat it, and eventually you start increasing your contract. See, William, what happens? What I'm trying to do is get you to do what? Build what? What am I working on here trying to get you to do? You have got to build that foundation. You have got to build that foundation before you can be a winning trader. So are 2 ticks going to buy you this house that this guy's sitting in? Are you going to be able to live in paradise? Are you going to even make a living at 2 ticks? No. The point is that you start to gain and build confidence. If you're trading with real money and you don't have confidence, please stop. You cannot trade successfully if you don't have confidence. Consistency will build your confidence. Okay? Learn to be consistent first. Build that strong foundation under your house so you don't have to keep trying to repair your trading. Does all that make sense? So here's a little grid. It's up to you. If you can make enough money at this, I just looked at, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots at maybe, you work your way up to maybe 5 ticks, which is what I trade for. That's what we trade for in the trade room, is 5 ticks. So, I did it over time, and you grow it. And the longer you're in a trade, the more speculative that trade becomes, right? Because there are so many influences in the market that can change the conditions that got you into that trade. So the longer you're in a trade, the more you're just guessing at what it's going to do. We know the markets are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to change directions for no particular reason, right? Time is your enemy. Absolutely. You just threw a bunch of stuff out into the ocean, and you're hoping that the sharks don't come and get it. You're now swimming with the sharks. And you're just staying there because, well, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm hoping that the sharks don't come and eat me. But what we do is we don't want the sharks to even know we're there. We're in and out so fast. And then we wait for the next trade. And there's no real sense of emotion management. So let me shift gears a little bit and help illustrate this a little bit. This is my old friend Bill. Actually, this is a facsimile of Bill. Bill was a guy who lived across the street from me, and I was in my early 30s, and I want to tell you this story to help illustrate how doing something small, like just a few ticks, can really pay off big in the future. Okay, I want you to understand that winning a couple of ticks a day is going to have a better effect on you than you believe it's going to. Okay? You don't need to make a lot of money on each trade. You need to lay a foundation so that you can do something small, something simple, over and over and over again. Repetition. Somebody said muscle memory earlier. That's exactly what we're looking at here. So Bill was my neighbor, lived across the street from me back when I was about 30. And of course, I was working out. I was strong, big, young guy. And Bill looked just like this guy. And Bill saw me getting my golf stuff out of my trunk one day. He goes, "Oh, you play golf?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, why don't we go play golf next week?" And I said, "Well, okay." So Bill shows up, and he shows up with 3 rusty old golf clubs. And I'm thinking, oh, geez. I've got a brand new bag. I've got new clubs. I've got the shoes. I look the part. And I'm a big, strong, young guy. And here's this old guy, can't stand up straight, carrying 3 rusty golf clubs. No bag. He's just carrying 3 rusty old golf clubs. I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be horrible because I'm this big, strong guy, right? And I'm going to get up on the green and I'm going to just crush that golf ball, right? And so I do. And, of course, the golf ball goes, over one fairway because, it went, 250 yards, but half of it was sideways. So I'm out there looking for my ball. And Bill, he smiles and he nods nicely and he sees me over there and he just goes ahead and hits his first shot, right? Straight. Not very far. Just hit it straight. And I'm still looking for my ball. And then Bill's waiting on me, being very patient, but he's like, I'll just go ahead and hit my next shot. And look what he did. Short and straight. Easy. Just hit it easy. Not hard. Of course, I'm whacking at this ball, trying to get it back in my fairway. And in the meantime, third shot, Bill's on the green. I'm all over the place because I'm trying to play like a professional, like I see professional golfers playing on television, right? I see these guys and I watch how hard they hit a ball and I watch what they can do with a ball. And I'm like, I want to be like those guys. I want to get those 300, 350 yard drives. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I have to do to be a good golfer like those guys. So I'm hitting it as hard as I can and trying everything I know how to do. And I'm all over the place. I finally get up on the green and 10 shots or something. Bill's there in 3. And it went like that all day. All day. So what do you think I learned from Bill? Nothing. I learned that I need to take golf lessons, or I need to read more books, or I need to watch more. Back then it was VCR tapes that we rented from the movie place. I know that from my own personal observations that to do what the pros do, I need to just keep doing what I was doing, but just do it better, do it harder, do it stronger. Go get different golf clubs, try different golf balls, try, changing my grip, try this, try that, try all these different things. Because that's what I saw the professionals doing. So initially, I learned nothing from Bill, and eventually, it came to me, and it was many years later. Get good at doing something simple. He only needed 3 golf clubs. He was in the, for those of you that are golfers, I think he finished in the high 70s that day. And the guy was 80 years old. You don't need to be fancy to be good. He got the golf clubs in a garage sale. Quality, hitting a straight shot, beats quantity. How many yards you can drive it. Don't try to do what the pros do or what you think the pros do. Okay? Because we can only see what we see, right? You guys see the pros on TV on the weekends, and you see what they do, and you think, okay, that's what I need to do. You don't see all the other stuff. So don't try to do what the pros do, because you're not practicing the way the pros practice. You're not doing the things they do outside of game time. Game time is when we're trading, right? Being consistent and building that foundation of consistency is better than having some great big winning days. I know we all have those, and it's exciting and you feel good. And we all know that that's what keeps us coming back to trading, because of how good it felt to have that huge winning day. And we try to not think about those huge losing days that we've had. So the big gains equals potentially bigger losses. And traders can overcomplicate anything. And we have a system that's been proven going on 15 years now, and it's proven, and we trade it every day in the trade room, and the trade room's open for anybody that wants to come visit with us for 5 free days. We show them what we do, and everybody, and then people wander off and we never see them again, but we prove it every day that we have an edge and that we know how to exploit that edge, and we do it over and over again, and we do it with this very simple trading system, okay? But people keep wanting to go, hey, Tony, have you tried this? Have you added that to it? What if I did this on this type of chart? What if I did that? I'm like, go ahead. You can do anything you want. I just show up every day. I do the same thing, trade the same thing, the same way every day. If you want to be a hobbyist and you want to keep changing it and tuning it and whatever, fine. That's up to you. But it doesn't need to be. Just be patient. Hang in there, and you're going to win the game. Just be patient. Because you need the patience, because this takes work, right? And it's more about what you use in your head than what's in your hands. Bill knew that. Didn't matter that he had those rusty clubs. Doesn't matter that you have all of these indicators, all of these systems, all of this information that you've collected all of these years. Doesn't matter. None of that matters. You already have what you need. Jesse Sizemore, he's got a quote that says, you already have what you need to be a successful trader. You already have it. So we're going to build confidence, okay? So what are we looking for? Briefly, we're going to go over this more on Saturday. We're looking for strong momentum. Notice the size of the bars, how they're medium size, and then we get this big bar that pushes up quickly. Then we get exhaustion. Now, what are we doing? We're people are reacting. to that sudden hard push up right here, right? People begin reacting. So with our indicators, we're able to read all of those conditions inside the indicator. And when you get a confluence of those conditions, we take a trade. It's like waiting on a bus. We don't have anything to do until the bus shows up. Okay, so we have a high probability trade setup, and that's an advantage. Isn't that all we're looking for in trading? Is an advantage? It is not difficult to execute on rockstar trades if you're ready for the trade. And all you have to do is get ready by watching this confluence of events build. It's a linear decision-making process. You go from, if condition 1 exists, you go to condition 2. If condition 2 exists, you go to condition 3, and you're looking for a confluence. So you've got generally some time to make that decision based on the conditions that are building on the chart. And then when the open of the next bar, if you have a rock star, you're ready to put that trade on. Now, if you're still finding it difficult, you do need to practice that. That's the flip side, is we have such a strong advantage, but we also have to be able and ready to execute that advantage. And some of that execution can be quick. So you've got to make quick decisions. And how do you get better at any skill you want to get better at? How do you get better at a skill? Practice. That's what Ninja Trader's playback connection is for. Practice. You can practice dozens or hundreds of trade setups over and over and over again. You can practice the trades we took today over and over and over again. And you do it in the evenings, you do it in your spare time. Trading is not easy. Everybody, I think most of you have learned trading is not easy. Right? It's a job. But if you have that faulty foundation, you still believe trading should be easy and that you shouldn't have to do work, then you're trying to build a trading career on a faulty foundation. Trading is a profession just like any other profession. You know, if you went to college for a profession, you would have realistic expectations that you had to do work, right? You had to work at it just to get a degree so you could get a job, so you could work at that job to gain enough skill and experience to develop a salary that you can live on. So what we're looking for, and we'll talk about this on Saturday, what we're looking for is to open of the next bar or better. So let's look here. Oops, I did it. Right here, you guys can see my mouse, right? Yep. Okay, so this bar dropped, and then this bar opened here, right? So what probably happened here, and the reason this was a winner, is because price backed up and then paused, and that's where I got filled. So it's very common to get a or better. This is the open of the bar, or better. It's very common to get an or better fill. So you could have a very simple rule that says, if I can't get filled better than the open of this bar, I'm not going to take the trade. Make it a very simple rule. I mean, you could. I don't. Because if it opens and just sits there, I'm going to get in that trade. If it opens and drops, I'm going to get in it down here. We'll talk more about that on Saturday. So we got a special offer for you guys. I hope we get to see you and you guys come out and hang out with us. But we got a special offer, 20% off of anything, any of our packages. Now the one and done and the we call it the Pro Trader package. You don't ever have to buy anything ever again, ever. You get everything we have and everything we will ever have in the future. So we're always developing things. They don't always come to fruition, but we're always working on developing new, mostly tools to help us do what we already do. We're not developing new things to try new ways of trading. We're developing things to make what we do better and easier and more efficient. Okay. We also develop NinjaTrader tools. So, for example, we're working on, and I can't make any promises, but we are working on a new static Superdome, or it's going to be like a static Superdome. We're trying to recreate it as best we can, and so we are working on that. So that hopefully will be the next thing that comes out. If you're in our Pro Trader program, you get it for free. So that's why it's one and done. The only thing, yeah. And Ninja is free. You can place your trades on any platform you want, but do your charting on NinjaTrader because it's free. You don't have to pay for it. I know a lot of people are like, well, I have to chart on the same platform I placed my trades on, but you really don't. You don't at all. We have a lot of people have come to and learned that why not use a free charting package and then place your trades using your broker's trading platform? That's fine too. Okay, any other questions? I hope that I get to see all of you guys on Saturday. We'll take a lot more time for questions on Saturday. Again, I appreciate you coming here today, and we'll see you all soon.